Welcome back. We have Adavan Sarans from the K-State Extension Service in studio with us this morning, and we are talking weed management, not just any weeds, aquatic weeds.
Yes, today I'm here to talk about aquatic weeds, and aquatic weeds are just any aquatic plant that becomes overabundant in a pond and becomes a nuisance. Maybe it's getting in the way of fishing in that pond. Your fishing line keeps getting tangled in it, and that becomes frustrating. Or with algae, it just becomes where it's overtaking a pond and of course isn't as ideal to look at.
Well, some weeds of course are good, like you said, before they get into abundance.
Right, so I have cattails with me here today, and of course those can be a beneficial plant around ponds for wildlife habitat, also acting as a water filtration system for runoff going in the pond. But sometimes they do become overabundant and start to overtake a pond, and that's when they are considered weeds.
So how do you manage them?
Yeah, great question. So there's a lot of different pond weeds. I also have American pondweed here in this jar. So the first step is to identify what type of weed you're dealing with, whether it's cattails, American pondweed, green algae. There's several different types of weed, and they fall into different categories. So first you want to identify what type of aquatic plant or weed you're dealing with. And from there we can see what type of control options fit best for you. So sometimes with cattails, if there's just a small area you want to get rid of, you can actually dig them out. You just want to try and get all of the roots with them. That usually isn't as popular of an option, but there are also aquatic herbicides that are designed specifically for use in and around ponds.
I imagine it's tricky trying to find a herbicide that won't hurt the aquatic life. You know,
well, actually, what's cool about these herbicides is they're designed to use in ponds with fish or with cattle drinking from those ponds.
Right.
So the herbicide itself isn't harmful to the fish.
Okay, that's good. All right.
Yeah. So after we've identified the weed, then we can look at what herbicide works best for that weed. And of course, you always want to follow the application rate and instructions for that herbicide that you can find on the label, or I can help you with that as well.
Is this the best time of year to try to manage those, or is there a particular time where you're trying to take out those abundance of weeds?
So this time of year when we start to get the warmer temperatures, more sunlight, is when pond weeds really start to take off. Sunlight and warm weather is just the perfect combination for them. So now's the time to start looking at your ponds, and if you start to notice like American pondweed or algae really start to take over, now is the time to start treating your pond for those.
And how can people get a hold of you for assistance?
They can reach me by calling the Independence office. That number is 620-331-2690, or sending me an email. And you can find my email address on our website, Wildcat Extension District.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for bringing in these samples as well.
Yeah,
all right,
no problem.
We'll be right back.